we're still seeing that there are people that have something in the brain that is the consistent factor of there, or is that almost like a bit of we're shooting ourselves in the foot by if we kind of accept that a little bit by there may be a lot of people that then claim that, oh, it's just the way I am, when there are factors that we could not necessarily them on their own with the right help could get through it as well.
Well, I'm gonna present a caveat to this and say that my opinion on this is somewhat extreme, but it's an opinion I've come to based on a lot of reading, a lot of research, and something I feel quite strongly about. There are many people who refer to depression as a biological imbalance, or some sort of biological imbalance in the brain. I'm yet to be convinced that there's any good research to support that. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't biological factors involved. Yep. There's almost certainly biological factors involved in everything we do. But I'm yet to be convinced that that's a significant contributing factor for the majority of people. My opinion, based on the research, and again, I'll openly say this, a lot of people would disagree with me on this. I write about this in the book, and I'm sure some people are going to disagree with it. If we look at all of the people with depression, and you can say the same about other forms of mental health, I believe it's probably only a very small percentage of people for whom there is some sort of neurotransmitter imbalance. Mm-hmm. So I think there probably are some, but not necessarily. I think by far the majority of people who are experiencing depression as a result of what we might call psychosocial factors, lifestyle factors, thinking, cognitive factors, etc. And as a result, the solution for them is psychosocial intervention, or cognitive behavior therapy is the most prevalent psychological therapy has been for the last 50 years or so, and proven to be effective. There's other versions of that, but in answer to your question, I think we need to be a bit careful of that, because what that then means is if I attribute my depression to biological factors, then I think there has to be a biological cure or treatment. And that's not always necessarily helpful. It doesn't necessarily give people the sense of control that I would like them to have over their life. That doesn't mean medications aren't appropriate at times. Doesn't mean there aren't biological interventions that will help. Of course, they help people at times. But I do believe, I think we've been slightly misled in some ways in that area for many years now.
Yeah, I think that's quite empowering though for people, because what it means is it's like someone, I have plenty of people, I just can't lose weight, my metabolism, my this, my that, and it's like, you can. Like it's not going to mean it's easy. That's a completely different thing. It's like I always say, for a concept that people might be easy understanding of is, weight loss is simple, not easy.
Yeah.
And much like it might be a similar sort of context here, like this is maybe not so simple in the same context there, but it we looked at those factors we talked about. Are you getting sunlight? Are you eating well? Are you exercising? Do you have a job that fulfills you? Do you have a loving household? 5 massive factors already that we go, all right, if we're ticking those now, it's, you've probably solved a lot of people's that we speak to on a day, like anecdotally that I talk to, anyone that says I'm feeling depressed or down or sad. You look at those 5 factors and there's probably something missing there for a lot of people. Similarly, all right, it doesn't mean it's going to be easy. If you have to break off a job or a relationship, that's not easy. But it's going to make a massive impact.
I think I agree 100%, and I think it's a useful metaphor, the weight loss one, because again, I think that there's no doubt there are genetic contributing factors. There's no doubt at all. Some people are predisposed to different body types. I think that's pretty bloody obvious. But that doesn't mean we can't change it. Those genetic factors don't explain 100% of the variance without getting sort of too boring with the statistics. So what that means is that there are some people who will always be what we might call more overweight or have different sort of body shape than others. Not everyone can have a supermodel body, whether you want that or not.
No. Or bone structure and things like this that we
literally on the cover of Men's Health magazine, whatever it might be. And again, not everyone wants to be that, but that doesn't mean that some people that you can't go to the gym or exercise in some way, improve your diet, etc., and lose some weight and or become more toned, change your body shape in some way or other. And I think so. It's the same with depression. I think there's no doubt there's no doubt at all that genetics plays some role, as it does with almost everything in life. And that doesn't mean I can't. If I'm predisposed towards depression, which I am, that doesn't mean I can't do things in my daily life that will make me feel a bit happier more often. And I suppose this, I actually talk about this a lot. One of the simple sort of metaphors, or I guess examples that I often give, is that I can swim. I've grown up in Sydney, lived on the beach, so I swim, and I can swim pretty competently, but I'm not fantastic at it. If I really wanted to, I could go to the local pool, find a swimming coach, train every day, or 3 times a week or whatever. And if I did that for a certain period of time, I would become a better swimmer.
Yeah.
I'd become faster and stronger, and I could swim for longer, etc., etc. But I would never be able to beat Ian Thorpe, or I'm never going to become an Olympic gold medalist, or if I did the same with running, I'm never going to beat Usain Bolt or whatever. So there's a limit to how much I can achieve, but I can improve. And I think you could say the same with weight loss, with depression. Not all of us will become Olympic gold medalists, but we can become better.
Yeah, I think, and that's once again, the common word there, it's very empowering because there are things you can do about it.
Head over to Jordan Checker Podcast to get the full exclusive experience.